changing. That's a good sign. We are heading towards my favorite part of the reserve, which is the savannah. The savannah is home to some of the more well-known animals like zebras, giraffes, and wildebeests. But before that, to the right, you're going to see this funny-looking tree. This is a baobab tree, sometimes referred to as an upside-down tree or the tree of life. They are leafless for about 9 months out of the year, but they're very important to the ecosystem. Animals will find very creative ways to get water out of them. They'll eat the leaves off them when they do have them. They'll eat the bark off them. They'll poke holes in the trunk to get any water that might be trapped on the inside. Baobab trees are like nature's water tower. They're going to be hollow, so they will store lots of water inside that trunk. As we make our way into the savannah, any animals that you guys see out in the distance, we're going to slowly make our way over to them. Now here to the right, you are going to see a couple of Hartmann's mountain zebras. Now zebras obviously stand out with those black and white stripes. They're not meant to blend into their environment. They're actually meant to blend into one another. So when zebras stand close to one another, those stripes are going to blend together, making it hard for predators to pick out a singular animal out of a herd. So a bunch of individual zebras are going to turn into one big massive zebra. Because of that, a group of zebras is called a dazzle. Now those stripes are unique to each animal. No two stripe patterns are going to be the same. Scientists have actually found a way to scan those stripes like a big barcode to help identify and keep track of certain zebras. Now here to the left, they're kind of laying in that back right-hand corner. You are going to see a couple of painted dogs. Now painted dogs are very social animals. They live in groups upwards of 15, and they're very cute, but also very, very effective pack hunters with a success rate of about 80 to 90%, making them some of, if not the best hunters on the planet. For comparisons, lions have a success rate of about 30% on their hunts. Now here to the left, these shaggy animals, these are wildebeests. Now wildebeests are the second most densely populated mammal on the planet, second to only us humans. They'll live in groups up to 1.5 million animals and migrate anywhere from 500 to 1,000 miles every single year. And then these two big tan animals to the right, those are elands. Now the elands are some of my favorite animals here on the reserve. I love them very, very much. The one to the right, that is Boo, she's our female. The one to the left, that is going to be Finn, he is our male. Boo and Finn are actually brother and sister. Now if you look at that big flap of skin under Finn's neck, that is called a dewlap. Elands will pump blood through that dewlap to help them cool off when it is hot outside. If you look at Finn's dewlap, it's a lot larger than Boo's. It's how you tell the difference between male and female elands. Now elands are the largest antelope on the planet. They're going to weigh upwards of 2,000 pounds. During mating season, male elands will dip those horns in a bush, spin them around in a circle, and come out with a crown of leaves to better impress the ladies. And then to the right and left, there are going to be some Masai giraffes. Now when a group of giraffes are all standing together, that is called a tower of giraffes. But when they're all walking or kind of migrating together, that is then called a journey of giraffes. And you see those ossicones on top of their head I was talking about earlier with the okapi. Those are those pointy things. Giraffes also have a prehensile tongue, which means their tongue acts like a big finger for them, helping them grab food off branches a little bit easier. Giraffes spend so much of their day eating that their tongues are actually purple to help prevent them from getting sunburned. Giraffes will actually spend about 20 hours of their day eating. They'll only sleep about 30 minutes every day as well. They'll do it standing up with their eyes open in about 5-minute spurts. Now we're going to come back to the giraffes in a minute. To the right here, you see those tiny tan animals in the field. Those are springboks. They get that name for how they spring straight up in the air about 6 feet. They'll spring 13 feet forwards, and their range speeds at 50 to 60 miles an hour while doing that, making them one of the fastest land animals on the planet. And jumping behavior that they'll do is called prompting. Now going back to those giraffes, fully grown, they're going to reach anywhere from about 18 to 20 feet tall. When they're born, they're about 6 feet tall. Giraffes do give birth standing up, so the first thing baby experiences is gravity. They fall about 6 feet. It helps jumpstart them. They are up and walking around in less than 30 minutes. They're actually up and running around in less than an hour. the right, you are going to see an African elephant. And you see those great big ears that are kind of shaped like the continent of Africa. They're going to flap those ears like a big set of fans to help them cool off. Those ears can cool them off upwards of 15 degrees. They'll also use their trunks to grab dirt and throw dirt on their back to create a barrier between their skin and the sun. Now that barrier does help with the sun, but it also helps in other areas as well. Elephants have very sensitive skin, especially when it comes to bug bites. So that barrier of dirt is going to help with bug bites as well. Now, unfortunately, every year elephants lose more and more of their homes, which drives them into conflicts with humans, usually farmers. They'll walk through their crops or eat the crops, and the farmers aren't too keen on that. So a few years ago, we did some research here on the reserve and found out the elephants were afraid of bees. They could hear them from about a mile away. So we used that information to create a beehive that we could put up around crops to keep elephants out. We then sent those beehives to farmers in Africa. They did their job, took the elephants out, so it protected the farmers, protected the elephants. It also gave the farmers another source of income in the honey. Now for years we were just sending those beehives to farmers in Africa, but recently we've been sending them to farmers in Asia as well for Asiatic elephants, and they're working just as well over there. Now that is the Elephant and the Bees project, and it's founded right here in Animal Kingdom. As we go under this bridge, you're going to see some red clay on the left and right. You're going to see some pest marks on the clay to the right. Elephants love red clay, so what they'll do is they'll stick their tusks into it and then eat the clay. They like the taste of it. It's also full of vitamins and minerals that aren't usually in their diet. So it's kind of like how we take vitamins and supplements. Here to the left, this is going to be a family group of elephants. Elephants are a matriarchal society, so a female elephant is going to be in charge of that herd. Unlike most matriarchal societies in the animal kingdom, though, it is not going to be the most dominant female that's in charge. It is going to be the oldest. Now what you're seeing right here, actually, is there's a baby. She's laying kind of in the middle of that group. So while she sleeps, the others are going to be standing around here just keeping a watch out, making sure she stays safe as she takes a nap. And here to the left, these are greater flamingos. Flamingos get that famous pink color that they have from the food they eat, which is brine shrimp. Brine shrimp carries a mineral called beta-carotene. It'll take them about a year or two to develop that pink color after they hatch. You might also notice that island that they're standing on might look a little bit familiar. It is a very large hidden Mickey. And here to the left, that is a mud wallow. It's a good sign there are rhinos around. Rhinos have very delicate skin. So what they like to do is they like to roll around in that mud. Helps protect their skin from the sun. And acts like sunscreen for them. Kind of the same philosophy as the elephants and the dirt on their back. Now to the right here, you are going to see an ostrich. Now ostriches are the largest bird on the planet. There's a couple of rhinos as well. We're going to come back to the rhinos. A good number to remember with the ostriches is the number 40. They're going to live about 40 years. They're going to run about 40 miles an hour, and their eggs are going to take about 40 days to hatch. Now we only have female ostriches here on the reserve. You can tell that by the color of their feathers. Females are going to have that grayish color, while males are going to be more of a black color. Here on the left, like up on the show, you are going to see a couple of my favorite animals. There's a couple of cheetahs. Now, cheetahs are really cool. They're really unique big cats. Their claws cannot fully retract into their paws. They stick out a little bit, acting like cleats. They need those cleats because they're the fastest land animal on the planet. They're going to go 0 to 60 in less than 5 seconds, which is faster than the launch of a rock and roller coaster. They also cannot roar. They're the second largest cat on the planet that can purr. They make purring, chirping, and kind of like barking noises as well to communicate to one another. They are sadly, though, the last surviving member of their families. All other big cats are either part of the puma or panthera family. Cheetahs are part of the acinix family. And here to the right, you're going to see that brown antelope laying up on that hill. That is a bontebok. That is Sebastian the bontebok. Sebastian is the oldest living bontebok in North America. Bonteboks were thought to be extinct in the wild until a few of them wandered into a farmer's pen. The farmer closed the pen door behind them, and they're not very good jumpers, so they couldn't jump out. At one point, it was estimated that there was only 17 bonteboks left in the wild. And going back to these rhinos, these are white rhinos. White rhinos are the larger of the two subspecies of rhinos. They're going to weigh anywhere from about 4,000 to 5,000 pounds. Rhinos have very poor eyesight. They can only see about 10 feet out in front of them. They do have excellent hearing, though. Those little ears move around like little antennas, picking up even the slightest of sounds. Now here to the left, they're going to be laying kind of in that back right-hand corner. Under those bushes are some very hairy rocks. Those are not rocks, those are warthogs. Now warthogs are closely related to domestic pigs. They're also highly intelligent like them. They're the largest burrowing mammal on the planet. They're going to burrow those holes and then back into them, sticking their tusks out for better protection. And going back to these rhinos, you're going to see one of our babies here on the right. Now, I always like to talk about the babies. This is Logan. She's our youngest female. We actually have 3 babies right now on the reserve. We have Milo and Logan. They're about a year old. Milo and Logan were born about a month apart from one another. We also have Ranger. Ranger is about a year older than Milo and Logan. Now, I always like to talk about the babies because rhinos are some of the most endangered animals that we have here on the planet. So if we can help increase that population just a little bit, or help increase that gene pool and strengthen it, it is very, very exciting for us. As we head on out of this savannah, we're making our way into Magadi Glen. This is where our warden's outpost is. The wardens take care of all the animals here on the reserve, including these little guys on the left. These are going to be Nigerian dwarf goats. They might seem small, but they're actually fully grown. You can also see that yellow box hanging out in front of the outpost. It's one of those beehives I was talking about earlier with the elephant and the bees project. But like the elephant and the bees project, we like to get locals involved in conservation, because if they care about conservation, it's often much more successful. Now, another similar program to that I am very passionate about is the Livestock Guard Dog program, which is part of the Cheetah Conservation Fund. Now, cheetahs are very timid animals. They're also not very strong, so they have a hard time taking down bigger prey items. But farmers in Africa, mainly in Namibia, they were losing their cattle to predators. It was lions, hyenas, and leopards, but the cheetahs were the ones that were getting blamed for it because they were the first thing that the farmers saw. So the Cheetah Conservation Fund came up with this idea to sponsor and partner with dog breeders that bred Anatolian shepherds. They would then send those dogs to the farmers, teach the farmers how to raise the dogs, how to train the dogs, how to keep those dogs safe, and those dogs would help keep the cattle safe and keep the cheetahs away. So it's a win-win for everybody involved, but most importantly, it'll help keep the cheetah population growing. Now, I've given you just 2 examples of conservation funds or projects. If you are passionate about a certain animal or a certain subject, though, do your research. There are countless conservation funds out there that you can get involved with. Now, if you guys have any questions once you are out of the truck and up on the unload dock, you are more than welcome to come up to my window and ask them. Also, make sure you are checking your surroundings, making sure you have all of your belongings. It is a long walk back here to Africa if you do forget anything. Now, if you wanted to see some more animals, we have the Gorilla Falls walking trail here in Africa. You're going to get another view of the okapi, another view of the hippos. You'll, of course, see some gorillas as well. If you're heading over towards Asia, we have the Maharaja Jungle Trek over there. You might see some